It's time for City Beat, your source for all the latest news on the city of Thompson. Only on 102.9 CHTM, your radio station.
This is City Beat. The mayor's here today to get us up to speed on what's going on around Thompson. If you have any questions, I encourage people to call in to 677-8181 or to email your questions into chtm@arcticradio.ca. So, Tim, there were a few things going on this past week. You can give us a quick update?
Yeah, just a couple things just in terms of activities that I attended over the last week or so. Last Friday, I had the opportunity to provide greetings at the Keewatin Tribal Council 14th Annual Tribal Days hockey tournament opening. So it was good to see teams from all over the region at the Thompson Regional Community Centre. Then as well, we held our regular council meeting on Monday the 3rd, and on Tuesday the 4th, I had a chance to provide greetings at the Association of Manitoba Chiefs Assembly here in Thompson, and we also hosted a reception later on that evening for the members that were visiting our community. So it's been fairly busy. The other thing that I have to note and thank people for is the cooperation and patience relating to some of the water breaks over the last week. Certainly the people in the Riverside area, it was a tough number of days, including right in my own home in terms of low pressure, but I want to thank our crews and again thank the patience of residents. We were able to finally get that fixed. It was a tough one, but we got through it, and it's been a abnormal year to say the least in terms of breaks, and not just in Thompson, all over, but we did get it done, and we still have a few on the books that we'll concentrate on, but again I thank people for their patience.
Okay, so you mentioned that the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs was here in town having an assembly, and they made an announcement about a casino. So I'm going to let you kind of give us the details about what's happening, where it will be, anticipated, date of operations, that kind of stuff.
Well, those are all good questions. I wish I had the answers to them, but quite frankly, we're just not there yet. Despite what many people think, this really is the start of the process, not the end of the process. And I did have an opportunity, along with Minister Ashton, on Tuesday morning to provide greetings at the Assembly. In addition, I had the opportunity to stay and listen to their reports on gaming, including the report on the potential for a gaming location in the Thompson region. Chief Primrose presented that report. I had an opportunity as well to address the audience following his presentation. I can tell you that the province of Manitoba has a responsibility and the authority for gaming in Manitoba. AMC has worked with the province of Manitoba in terms of the development of the Sand Hills Casino. There has been a different approach in terms of the development of casinos in Manitoba, where AMC has taken the responsibility on behalf of First Nations. And the province and AMC have also agreed on the development of a casino in the Thompson region. As such, following the reports, a resolution was presented to the membership, which was approved, that points out the process for moving forward in terms of the development. I was very pleased that the second bullet relating to that resolution was to work towards an improved relationship with the City of Thompson. This is the point that the City of Thompson becomes involved in the discussions, and I think that's appropriate, and I think we need to have those discussions. But I think it's very important that people have the facts. We have had the opportunity over the last, let's say, year to have informal discussions with the province about casino development, as well as I've had the opportunity to sit down with Grand Chief Nepanak, who I can tell you I've very much appreciated his honesty, his transparency in these discussions. Really, the discussion was between AMC and the province, but he made sure that the City of Thompson was at least kept up to date. They came to an agreement recently for that development in Thompson, and fortunately we've been able to have an understanding of where they want to go. I look forward to the discussion, and I think that people need to ensure they have the factual information regarding First Nation casino development. We've seen it take place in our province as well as to the west. I truly believe this is an opportunity that we have to talk about related first to economic development in Thompson, And secondly, an opportunity to work with First Nations and surrounding communities to really begin to address the social challenges that we face as a community. Believe me, I'm the last guy that wants to bring another vice for addictions to our community. But there's a reality. Gambling is legalized in the province. Casinos have been developed in the province. There is a role for the municipality to play in terms of negotiating and developing a best case scenario for moving forward. That's what I want to do. So that's what I aim to do. I hope we can get the proper information based on a business case, and I think the business case will point out that we can create a situation in Thompson that is the right opportunity for us so that we can address the economic development, but we can also really start to address some of those chronic social conditions of homelessness, poverty, addictions. So to me, there's a willingness. We are now at the table in the discussion, and let's have that discussion. Let's be honest, let's be open, let's be transparent about it, let's get the right information, and at the end of the day, let's move forward in what's a win-win situation, not just for one of the stakeholders, but for all the stakeholders. And that includes our community, the North, AMC, and the province.
Okay. And do you foresee a lot of opposition to this?
Well, I think there's always opposition, and I welcome the debate. But I think that let's focus on the facts. And I always say good debate gets you good decisions. So part of the process that we're in, and back to, I guess, the original question, I'm not sure about any of those answers because we're just starting the process. Site selection, the creation of a concept for the development, all those are part of the resolution. I look forward in the very near future sitting down with AMC and having that discussion in terms of time frame, in terms of those other things. But I can tell you that none of those decisions, I've had people telling me in the last 2 days what has been decided, which is interesting because I think I'd have a pretty good idea, and I can tell you that. I know I'd have a good idea because the Grand Chief in the province have been honest with us right from the start. So many of those things, the decisions will have to be worked out. I look forward to having that conversation. I'm not afraid of opposition. I certainly am not afraid of the debate, but let's make sure we frame it properly. And again, it has to be framed around economic development. It has to be framed around how do we address those chronic social issues. And I think the other thing that we have to do is it has to be framed around how does this community move forward with relationships in terms of those communities that rely on Thompson as a service center. And I look forward to that debate. I think it'll be a good one, and I think that we'll get the best decision out of that discussion.
Okay. And is there any way you think that between the city and the AMC that they can maybe together improve maybe the communication that goes out to the community? Once again, you say there's there's people talking in a variety of different forums, maybe without all the facts. How can we improve that? Because that's what happens. I think things crop up when there's that void, and they're trying to fill that void with information, and one person says one thing, and one person can say, oh, I think I heard this, and then next thing you know, everybody's running with it because that's gospel. So how do we improve that and try to keep everybody up to speed on what's happening? Instead of all of a sudden getting something's been in the works for a year, then all of a sudden somebody's hearing about it later, and we kind of go, what? How did this go by me? And, so I think that's a little bit of the issue. Well,
but I think people have to understand, casino development goes back probably to the late 1990s in Thompson. Mm-hmm. And again, one of the points I made, people better be and will be benefited from having the correct details regarding the municipal services agreement that we have in Thompson, regarding the resolution that AMC passed, because it's very clear on the process that they're going to be forward. They should be clear on the plebiscite that took place in Thompson. But what they have to understand is that, again, the province of Manitoba and AMC came to an agreement very recently, and AMC put forward a resolution at their assembly here in Thompson this week. The process is just starting. So yes, you're absolutely right that we have to focus on communication and a plan to get the information out. but we're starting that process. I hear it. I think the Grand Chief has absolutely made a commitment to that in terms of communication, in terms of getting it out. But again, to all those people that believe that it's done and that tomorrow there's something opening, that is just not the case. We're beginning the discussion. I think it can be a very positive discussion. I have been very impressed with the willingness of AMC, both the Grand Chief and the members at the Assembly here, to really work with the City of Thompson to look at that economic development and to concentrate on addressing those social challenges.
Okay. So we'll go on to some of the other things right now. I know that the city usually every year has a lot of areas that they have earmarked for paving. So when I was at the Expo North last week, there was an interesting, it was a whole different type of paving. It was the cold press or whatever they called it, something else. I just thought it was very interesting because it was, in talking with the two representatives there, they were saying that, it's actually about a fifth of the cost of regular, paving and stuff like that. So what did you think about it? I said, oh, did somebody from the city come by? He says, yeah, we were just talking with the guy. So maybe if you...
Well, I think first off, the Expo North was just phenomenal in terms of taking a look at some of the goods and services people can provide, including some of the new technology. We are just entering into our tendering process for the capital work to be done this year. We're always looking at new opportunities in terms of how we can develop or how we can implement those capital projects. So I haven't had any discussion specifically on that item, but our administration is always looking for ways that they can look. I can tell you this, though, we had a real opportunity to take advantage of some of the opportunities that Expo presented, and I don't know if people noticed, but one of those was that we had a new sign out when you talk about communication, a solar sign that we were able to negotiate as a part of the Expo. One of the presenters was here, didn't want to take it back to Winnipeg, and we used that on the Riverside Dig. So there was some real interesting spin-offs from having Expo North here.
Okay, great. And we have Derek on the line with a question for the mayor.
Hi, I was wondering if not a done deal at this point. What needs to be done to stop it?
Well, quite frankly, it's not a done deal. I think what needs to be done is to sit down and have a discussion with AMC. And specifically, again, my position is to address the two issues of economic development and addressing the social issues, and to put together a business case that shows that that can have a positive impact on both those areas.
Okay, thanks, Derek. I hope that answers your question for you. Back, another question I have for the mayor. We're now in March, and as spring approaches, we hope, on the calendar anyway, we're starting to look at, flowers and gardens and things like that. The Multicultural Centre has a really interesting and I think pretty ambitious project that they're going to work on this year, consisting of the garden plots under the hydro towers from Station Road up to the entrance of the Valley property. So will the city be involved in that somehow?
Well, I think that, I understand we've just started the planning for Communities in Bloom for this year, and I think as part of that process, the committee's involved in a number of different areas. I know that there's some new initiatives that other community groups are looking at doing. From the city perspective, I think that we're certainly there to support and encourage any of those things, and I think that that's been one of the real benefits of being involved in Communities in Bloom, is that if you can lead, I would say lead by example, others will start to follow, and that's exactly what we've seen since we started Communities in Bloom, is we're seeing other people starting to take that up. So I'm not sure of this, I'm not aware of the specific details, but I think through the Communities in Bloom, that's where we'll probably be looking at supporting.
Yeah, actually that project is about 200 to 250 garden plots are going to be put in under those. They're about 75 to 50 feet in size, and I mean, it sounds like a great idea, only about $50 to rent a plot. So if somebody's got the green thumb, they can go for that. And so Tim, we're getting close to running out of time. Maybe I'll give you a chance to let listeners have some parting words about what's happening, what's coming up here in the city in the next little while.
Well, I think that, again, we're moving into some of the best time of the year, and I always say that at this point because the weather's starting to warm up. I took the opportunity yesterday and actually was out skidooing and enjoyed that immensely, and out on the trails. It's phenomenal being out. Encourage people to get out. There's lots of things taking place this weekend. Again, a very busy community. We've got the Pee Wee Provincials at the Thompson Regional Community Centre. We've got International Women's Day on March the 8th. YWCA is hosting a variety of events on March the 7th. Encourage people again. The Women of Distinction deadline, I think, is coming up on March the 8th, so I encourage people to get out and support those things. And again, we had some success on the Riverside and Oak Street water break last week. We still have a number of water breaks, so encourage people to take care and caution in around crews around the water breaks. We are going to be moving forward on removing some of the snow from some of the corners as we had planned to do before we had to deal with those water breaks. And the last one, again, just on the announcement this week regarding the resolution by AMC. I'm absolutely committed to ensuring that we enter into a dialogue with the best interests of this community at the front. AMC and the province have reached an agreement. As far as the city of Thompson is concerned, we are just beginning that discussion in terms of what the impact can be. And I think we have tremendous ability because of the positive work we've done on relationship building, because of the agreements we've put into place, such as the municipal services agreement. So those people that say it's a done deal, I think that's a very negative approach. I think that we have an opportunity to create a very good opportunity for this city. And if the province and AMC, who have the authority for gaming, are moving forward, then I think it's in the best interest of this community to be at the table, to be a part of those discussions, and that's what I aim to do. And I know that some people aren't going to be pleased, but I'll tell you this. I constantly hear from people that the status quo isn't good. I hear from people, why aren't the surrounding communities supporting this community to address the social issues? Why are we having the challenges in terms of making a change in economic development? That's what this is about. That's what the discussion has to be about. So to all those people that constantly challenge me to see things change in this community, well, change takes bold actions at time. And we can't be afraid of them. Because I'll tell you what, if we're afraid of them, all we're going to do is continue to argue with each other about how the status quo doesn't work. I'm not a status quo believer. I think you constantly have to grow. We have a phenomenal opportunity to be a part of an agreement. Municipalities aren't normally parts of these agreements. It is an agreement between AMC and the province of Manitoba. We have an opportunity to be there. We're going to be there. I understand there's going to be opposition, and I welcome that because I welcome the debate. But I'll tell you this, people in this community better understand, you can't keep thinking you can have things both ways. Complain about the way it is and then be damn afraid to make a change. So I look forward to the debate.
All right. Well, thanks. This has been City Beat, and I encourage you to join us again next Thursday for more news about what's going on in Thompson. I'm Sue O'Brien for 102.9 CHTM.
City Beat will be back next Thursday morning at 11.